Chris Landry, segment 2 on a Monday. Make sure to find him at Landry Football, and then, of course, that's on X and LandryFootball.com. Chris, it looks like there's going to be some wide receiver extension contracts coming up for the likes of Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb with the Dallas Cowboys, Jamar Chase for the Cincinnati Bengals, and Brandon Ayuk for San Francisco. I guess the question is this, is you would think, with Tyreek Hill's $30 million per year average, that floor will be set again. At what point, if you have a CeeDee Lamb and it gets extremely expensive, and I know, there's some jockeying with the salary cap, kind of moving that whole thing up and everything. But at what point do you look younger, like the Chiefs did with Tyreek Hill, and just move on?
I think it depends on the team, depending on the situation. The Cowboys are more likely to spend the money. The Vikings will probably spend the money as they are now focusing on where they're going to go at quarterback, but they need to and would like to revolve it around a guy like Justin Jefferson, who's young as well, and probably as good a receiver as there is in football. At least he's graded out that way for me. I think the biggest thing is, look, I think you have to look at it, and to answer your question is in each situation, like in Kansas City, they had a lot of talent. In Tyreek Hill, they wanted him back, but they can't pay everybody. So they had to make the move, and they're kind of had to go a little bit cheaper because the quarterback had to get paid. And so everybody's in that situation. Now, the Cowboys, they got to redo Dak's deal if that's what they're going to do, or let it ride. All that's going to affect what they can pay, CD or anyone. Obviously, they decided to not pay the tackle due to injuries and commitment there and due to their cap situation. So I think the interesting thing is, here's what goes on in the negotiations. You mentioned all those guys. Who goes first, or more importantly, who goes last? And I think, because basically you work in this league off of other contracts. Well, JJ's going to probably get the best one, so he's going to want to see what everybody else gets. So, if you're trying to get 5, and I'm just throwing a number out, I'm not talking about $5 million, it's going to be a lot more than that, then you want to see all those guys. All of a sudden, you think they're somebody else that's not you're the top of the and somebody gets 7, then you're going to be asking for 8. You see where I'm going with it?
Sure.
So the price only goes up depending on who goes first. So we'll see what IU can do. Now, the key is, can you get a good deal? Can you convince them to sign and give them a lot of upfront money? Do you have the cap to do that? Can you spread it out over the life of the contract? The other thing to keep in mind, we had a pretty nice jump in a cap number this year. So, it's kind of like giving you more budget. Look, think of the salary cap fans out there as a credit card. Everybody in the league just got a credit, increase. So, they got a little bit more credit allowed to them so they can put more on that credit card. And so I think some teams are going to be willing to do it and pay it off over time. Some may want to be a little more prudent, and it's just going to depend individually where the teams are cap-wise.